Thank you all for coming out to another video of Pure Keys. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very basic video of how a keyboard is cleaned. No matter the size, no matter the type, it follows a very basic principle, and it's something that almost any keyboard can be benefited by if you've been using it for a certain amount of time. This one has probably been used for a few years. It's not mine, it's actually my friend's. He lent it to me to clean in exchange for me making some video content, so I hope you guys enjoy. First thing we're going to need is some tools. Right here, I have a keycap puller. It's actually 2-in-1. It's also a switch puller as well. That's what's on the other side there. Very important to have so that you don't accidentally pull off the stems on the keycaps themselves. I've done that before. Get a microfiber towel. That's easier to clean in between the switches and on top of the switches as well. Third thing you're going to want is a toothbrush. This helps get in between the switches and it helps clean out all the dirt, hair, whatever else may be in there. And the last thing we're going to want is for the keycaps. It's going to be a little bath of some warm soap and water. Reason being, you want that to soak for a little bit after we put the keycaps in there, and that will help get all the dirt and grime off there. This is a non-hot swappable keyboard, so I will not be taking out the switches to do any maintenance on the keyboard itself. It's a Corsair one that's soldered and screwed into the PCB. As you can see, this is a full-size Corsair keyboard. It's a few years old model. It does have individual RGB control on it. You'll see that later. What I'm gonna do now is pull off the individual keycaps, and I'm gonna kind of work my way left to right. That doesn't really matter. Just put extra force behind the stabilize switches, stabilize keycaps. So the shift key, the space bar, enter key, anything that has a stabilizer on it, it's going to put a little extra force. And the spaceboard you want to be extra careful with. They tend to break if you don't pull them off right. That is disgusting. Now that we have all the keycaps and our little container of water, I'm gonna let that soak for probably about an hour or so. I'd say that's my best judgment to make sure all the crap gets off of the keycaps. Stir around just a little bit, get the bubbles moved around in the soap. I think it was stuck at the bottom of the container, so go ahead and pop the lid onto that bad boy and set it aside for later. What we're going to be working on next is the actual keyboard. Now that we have the keycaps gone, I'm going to bring that back out, and what I'm going to use is a little handheld vacuum cleaner. It pushes out all the air. I use this for my computer all the time. Right now I have the main blowing attachment on there. Swap that for the needle nose, and it has a brush on the end of it. It also has some little like exhaust parts on the back end of that, because that would be too much force for the little needle nose blower. Now you just kind of want to go in the same motion. Sometimes I just turn it off in between strokes to make sure that I get everything and not blow stuff back onto the desk. So I blew everything away and off the desk here. Just want to work between all the little nooks and crannies. That's going to help make sure that you get all the dirt, all the hair, everything out. You'll be able to get the rest of the stuff with the toothbrush, but this is a great way to start by getting all the surface grime off of it. Okay, now it's time for us to take out a little toothbrush. Like I said, you can use a full-size one as well. I like this little one. It works better. I also have smaller hands, so I just find that it works better when I need to clean something. I'm going right on top. I would recommend that you probably wring out the toothbrush a little bit more than I did, so you don't risk getting water into the switches. That's not a good thing, especially if you have loop switches. You definitely don't want to be doing that. That we got it all cleaned up with the toothbrush, I'm going to take it back with the microfiber cloth, and also I used the little switch puller as a guide because it fits pretty good in between the actual key switches. So that's what I use to get the rest of the surface dirt between the switches. Going back with the toothbrush on the exterior parts outside of the switches, just to make sure everything is cleaned up, looks real nice. Don't want to miss anything, because then you're gonna go back and have to take off the keycaps again, which is not a fun situation. Now that I have all the keycaps sitting in the water for what I think was about an hour, I'm going to go ahead and dry them off with this little towel here. Now, it may not get off all the water. That's okay. I'm going to let it air dry over an air purifier I have just to get more air introduced to it. And it doesn't get out the water when I do this under the keycap anyway, so I kind of have to do that. last few keycaps here. Got that all. Spacebar was extra dirty, so I just wanted to make sure I got anything that was on there off of there. I'm gonna take the entire hand towel full of keycaps and put that directly onto my air purifier. It has a turbo mode. Okay, now that I have all the keycaps dried off from the air purifier, I am going to reassemble them onto the keyboard. I left the keycaps on the air purifier for about 2 hours. They probably didn't need that long because they were completely dry on the inside of them, so I didn't have to worry about water getting into the switches. I'm going to pull back out the keyboard here and start on the process of matching up all the keycaps back to their original places. I had to cheat a little bit, look back at the original footage that I took of taking apart the keyboard, because I for sure don't have any full-size keyboards lying around to reference at this time. Getting in the last 2 keycaps here, and now we got everything plugged in to a computer, and I'm gonna test to make sure that all the keys work, they're not water damaged, or they weren't previously damaged before I took in this keyboard. Just a little website that I use to keyboard test all the individual keys, all the switches, and it just goes through everything and makes a clicking sound every time that it correctly identifies a keystroke. Feel free to comment if you guys want me to do any other cleaning videos. I'm not opposed to maybe seeing if you guys want to send in your keyboards to me for me to clean at no charge. I would most likely make a video about it. If you want me to give you a shout out, I'd be more than happy to do so as well. I know we're small here. I know that I haven't been around for a while, but I'm looking to grow. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Stay pure, and I will see you guys in the next one.